Hello everyone, Pat here. So today I want to talk to you about the trade routes, or rather cargo hauling missions that you can do with a ship like the Freelancer or the ZEUS CL if you have either one of these. Now, with the upcoming release of the Starlancer Max, I'm sure a lot of you have this one, the Freelancer Max, as a loaner. So maybe you would be interested in doing some other cargo missions. Now, I'm not going to bother with explaining to you how to do the very first missions, because going from trainee to what we need, which is member, is basically just a couple of runs with whatever you want to run. However, if there's interest in that, I might do a video on that in the future. However, the route that I'm going to show you today, which is going to yield just under 500k per hour, is going to be focused on member missions. Now, what you're going to need for this? Obviously, you're going to need your either Freelancer Max or a ZEUS CL, something that can hold between 100 to 120 cargo. You should definitely not try this with something that cannot hold something in between that range, because the boxes, the amount of SEU that you're going to be carrying is going to fluctuate. So I definitely recommend doing this route specifically only with the Freelancer Max or ZEUS CL, or alright, with something bigger if you want to run it with something bigger. So, what else are you going to need? I have, for myself, I have done an Excel sheet. However, you can do a piece of paper, it's up to you. Like, my sheet looks something like this. So, what I did is I listed all the missions up top. As you can see, they're all member missions. These are the materials that you're going to be carrying, and these are the only three destinations you're going to be delivering to. By the way, I forgot to mention, we are delivering everything from Port Tressler. So this is a Microtech only run, and you're going to be based out of Port Tressler. So how do you get these missions? As I mentioned earlier, you want to be in your mobiGlas, you're going to go into your contracts. Now this number is going to look different for you, because I am currently at senior rep. So obviously I've grinded through a lot of these, but yeah, whatever the case is, the number of hauling missions that you're going to see here is going to look different for each and every one of you. The important thing to note here, as I mentioned earlier, is that you are a member. So how do you find these missions in all this mumbo jumbo that you see here that CIG has made for us without any option to filter these? Well, this is where either your pen and paper or your sheet comes in handy. As I've shown you before, the sheet has all the information for each of the missions already in here. The only thing that's going to be varying are the actual SEU amounts. So each one of these items is an SEU amount. Never mind that I deleted something there. This is from a previous run, and as you can see, these are the payouts for each of the missions. We're going to be running 6 missions in total with 3 destinations, a total payout of 223,000 SEU, and it's not going to take us more than half an hour, provided that you're doing the steps that I'm about to show you and you get your rhythm going. So um, obviously this video is going to be a little bit longer than that. It's not going to take me 30 minutes to do the run as I'm showing you the tips and tricks that I recommend you do during your runs. But without further ado, let's get started and how to actually get these missions. As you've seen before, so I'm in the hauling contracts here, and while I'm referencing my list, obviously I've done these so many times that I already know by heart where these missions are, but for you beginning, you should just reference the initial payout numbers. So here I know that the first mission that I'm looking for is a 34k mission right here. And just to double check, it's going to be collect the carbon, Port Tressler, to Grey Cat, Sakura, and New Babbage. So I'm gonna accept this offer and input the SEU values into my sheet. So we're gonna bring 4 SEU to Sakura, 3 to Grey Cat, and 4 to New Babbage. Perfect. We go back, we open this. Takes a long time because apparently it's a lot of data to load. And we look for the next mission. Now I know it's roughly around this area of the bar. It's a 38k mission. So it should be somewhere around here. No, I think I've gone a little bit too far. No, there it is. So now we're looking for the quartz one, right? We accept and put the values into our sheet or piece of paper. 7 is to Sakura, 5 to Grey Cat, 6 to New Babbage. Now you might be wondering why I'm reading these not in order as you see them on the screen right now. It's just because I am putting it into my sheet in the order that I will be delivering. And so it's just for sake of simplicity and efficiency. Now that we have the quartz mission accepted, we'll go back to the list. Now the next one is going to be roughly around the middle. It's a 34k one, there it is. Corundum, accept. Input 5, 3, 3. So that's 5 to Sakura, 3 to Grey Cat, 3 to New Babbage. And I'll explain why I'm doing it in this order later on. Back to offers, hauling. The next one we're going to be looking for is the titanium run. So it's roughly around here. There, no, not this one. Don't get tricked by this one. It adds multiple stops and might make sense for a different run with a different cargo load, but we're not looking for this one right now. I think it was further up. There we go, titanium. So we input those, 8 SU, 6 SU, 5 SU. Back to here. Now I know this might seem tedious, but once you actually know where to look for them in the search bar, in this list, then it becomes actually rather fast. Next one is also 38. No, this was the waste one. That's not what we're looking for, so we go further. Here we go. Tungsten. Accept. We input 9, 8, 8. And for the last one, we're looking for the aluminum run. Might just be my PC that's taking so long, so you might have a different experience here. And this one is roughly just around the bottom, a little bit higher than that. So just look for 38k aluminum. Bam, there we go, all done. So this whole process, like obviously taking me about a couple minutes here for the purposes of the video, but once you get used to this, it gets a lot faster. So we have now 6 missions in total. I'm gonna flip the screen again for you guys so that you can see what I have inputted into the sheet. So this is now the actual numbers that we're gonna be carrying. And now what I like to do is that I'm gonna be loading these from the bottom to the top. So obviously we have to be a bit mindful of where we're sending the boxes and how we're gonna be loading our ship. So let's go take a look at that. Here's our pretty ship. And cargo bay is already opened. We send down the elevator. Okay, that's a new one. Seems to be working though. Alright, so here are all the boxes that we're gonna be delivering, but they're not really organized in the way that we want to deliver them, right? So this is again where this pretty list of ours comes in. Not pretty, but useful. And we're just going to be referencing the list in order to load the cargo. So what I like to do is I go to my window and I will select all of the new Babbage cargo that I'm going to be loading into the back, or rather into the front of the Freelancer. So what is it we need? I like to go from back to front, so we're going to be needing 9 aluminum, 8 tungsten, and so on and so forth. So back to in-game. We said we want 9 aluminum. And I forgot to mention, but all of these missions are going to have a maximum SCU size of 4, so those are these. Sometimes they're going to have 2s, and sometimes they're going to have 1 SCU boxes. So it's up to us to make sure that we deliver them properly, especially because CIG with the newest update have penalized not completing these missions. So if you were one of the ones in the camp that only took all the big boxes delivered and then submitted, which was possible before without any penalty, neither to rep nor money. Now you cannot do this anymore. I've tested this before, so just make sure that you're delivering everything if you don't want to get heavily penalized money-wise. You still get rep from, at least from the test that I did, but the amount of cargo that I delivered compared to the amount of money that was penalized was just not fair at all, I would say. Anyways, long story short, let's go back to loading. So we want all the new Babbage cargo. As I said before, I'm going to be loading from back to front. So I'm going to need 9 aluminum. So that's 2 of these 4 SCU boxes split. By the way, you just right click, select whatever you want and just click on split. And I'm going to put 2 there. 1 of these. So I just like to split them like this. So that's 9. What's next? Tungsten. That's carbon, titanium, quartz, tungsten. Gonna need 8 tungsten, that's pretty easy. So we just need 2 of these. Bam, 8 tungsten. Titanium, we need 5. So it's gonna be 1 4 SCU and the only 1 SCU that we have left. Corundum. Corundum, we need to deliver 3 to New Babbage, so we split the 2 SCU box and 1 SCU boxes. That's 3 corundum. Quartz. Where's quartz? Here we go. We're gonna need 6. So 4 plus 2. 6, easy peasy. And last but not least, we go to carbon. Carbon, it's just gonna be a simple 4 SU. So we take the 4 SU. Now, we're gonna send this elevator up, and I'm gonna explain to you how we load. So we're taking all this time at the beginning of the trip just to make sure that it's nice and efficient down the line. All you're gonna need is a handheld tractor beam, and we're gonna just start loading our ship. So here what I like to do is I like to, if you notice, you can face them in 2 different directions, either with the dark side to your front or what I like to call the colored side to the front. So I'm going to explain later on, or it's going to become apparent at the end when I reach this part of the cargo bay, why I'm loading with the colored section back there first. So what we need to do is just maximize our space, put it in like this. For those of you wondering how I'm actually rotating them, just hold down R when you're having them, and then with your mouse you can flip them in these axes. And also while you're holding R and then using your mouse wheel, you can just rotate them like that, right? Easy peasy. So, put this one in as well. that one in the wrong way. Flip it. Bam. The top part I like to keep open for the 2 and 1 SU boxes, just because we need to maximize our space in order to maximize the cargo grid. Oh, come on, get in there. There we go. And I'll just grab this other 2 SU box. Load it up. Let's go for another 4 on the other side. Flip it. And then we're gonna have 1, 2, 3 and a 1 of these 1 SEUs. So I'm gonna skip these for now. Just fill up to the top. This is something you're gonna get accustomed to the more you do these runs. And it will become apparent in just a second as to why we are skipping them for last. And I know this might seem slow for you right now, but trust me, I've done these runs in like 30 minutes a pop, and like I said, the yield is just under 500,000 per hour, and they're nice and chill. So it's worth doing all this hassle, and it's kind of a mini game if you think about it. So now when you reach these kind of configurations where you have like 1 square space left, I like to make sure that the next load is gonna make sense. So if you look, imagine the whole cargo bay has been filled up. So now if you look here, once you've cleared out the space all the way to here, you're like, aha, okay, so this is everything I'm gonna be taking to New Babbage, because all these boxes, right, are facing in the same direction. So what now? For the gray cat, load, we're gonna go back to our elevator, send it down. At this point, I just like to mark in my sheet what I have loaded already. I just change the color of the squares to green, and I look for the next cargo. So now we're gonna need 7 aluminum. It's gonna be 4 SEU, 2 SEU, and 1 SEU for a total of 7. And it's always gonna be this kind of configurations, right? It's super simple and straightforward once you get used to it. What's up next? We need tungsten. So for tungsten we need 8, so that's 2 of these. Just split them. Come on. Like that. 8 tungsten, then titanium. We're gonna need 6. So splitting 2, grabbing 1, grabbing 2. There we go. Titanium, then corundum. Again a 3. So 2 and a 1. That's 3 corundum. And then we need the quartz. Gonna need 5 SU of quartz. So that's a 4 and the 1. Last but not least, the carbon. It's gonna be a 3 SU, so just the small boxes that we have left. And everything else that is in here is obviously the Sakura cargo. So there's all the gray cat cargo, and whatever is left is the Sakura cargo. We send this up. Everything's here, perfect. Now remember we left that 1 SU box space over there. So we're just looking for 1 SU box, there's one right there. And we make sure that we load him first, just to kind of showcase that this is the new section of cargo. Basically the section that is going to be delivered somewhere else. And now you see I've used the other face of the boxes to showcase that. So we grab these, keep loading. Let's put this one out of the way. you flipped it, no problem, just pull it back out. That's what she said. No, no. And there we go. Now we can load the top one, and just to showcase a different way of loading them, depending on the boxes that you're gonna get, you can do something like this. So take the 2 SEU box, pop it in there, take 2 single ones, pop it in like so. Nope. And this way, even after you remove this last corundum box, for example, from the top, you're gonna see the other one behind it, and you're gonna be like, aha, yeah, this one also has to go there. Alright, so there we go. We're gonna keep loading. That's a 2 SEU. Let's leave that for later. Leave that for later as well. Take the nice big ones. Like so. Sometimes if you have boxes on either side of a box, they're not gonna move, so just move something to the side and you can keep going. I'm actually gonna leave the space up top for the small boxes. So we have 1 of 1 left, so we take this, flip it, put 1 there, another one next to it, and then we're gonna load these last. Because now the gray cat section is complete with this last box. And so now you can see the difference. Now we know that this entire load of I guess dark side facing us boxes are for a different location. Go back to the elevator, and trust me, like I've tried this with pulling all the cargo up at once. It just makes a mess because you're gonna have to be pulling boxes off of the top of each other, and organizing your loading this way makes so much more sense and makes it so much easier. Like I said earlier, the most of the effort that you're gonna be putting in is at this stage of the run. Everything else is just a snooze. So we just grab the rest of the boxes. And by the way, between each of these steps, when you're loading a different stop, you can cross-reference this with your list and making sure that you actually grab the right amount of boxes and not made any mistakes. But I know that I haven't done any mistakes so far, so we're just gonna keep it as is. So what we need now, we need a 1 SU box to put here. So we're just gonna grab that, flip it. Now you see we're back to the color side. And this marks that this is gonna be the Sakura Sun cargo. We have another one here, but I'd like to take a 2. Actually, no. Sorry. Gonna grab this, flip it, just put it on the top. Now, when I'm loading the first run, I mean it's the last boxes, but it's the first run, I like to make sure to load as many of these 4 SU boxes on the grid as I can fit. And the reasons why will become apparent in a second. Like so. And now You might be wondering, hey MapPad, there's still a 4SU box there. Yeah, no problem, don't worry about it. Grab the rest, flip them in the right direction. I mean, at this point it doesn't really matter anymore because we know that this is the first stop. But just for the sake of order and keeping it nice and tidy, I'm gonna load like this. And the keen-eyed amongst you may have noticed that the grid back here only has room for one, or it's like a one wide cargo grid, right? So this is why we've been loading the way we've been loading, to maximize the cargo grid. And then usually with these runs, there's sometimes it's perfect, you know, you finish loading up on this section, but sometimes you have like this little rascal over here who just doesn't have space on the cargo grid. Doesn't matter, the Freelancer Max has a big ass booty and just can fit it right here. I imagine that you wouldn't have this issue on the ZEUS CL. I've never had trouble with these, so I don't mind. Just fits here perfectly, and you can keep stacking up here if the missions that you've taken have more cargo than this one, for example. So as I've said before, sometimes you're gonna get between 100 and 117. That's the max that I've seen SCU of cargo. So obviously with the bigger cargo load, this would look a little bit different. Like all of these would be filled up as well, and maybe I would have two of these boxes stacked on top of each other. But that's the most I've had, and they actually behave on my ship at least. So I've never blown up. I've done dozens of these runs. I've never blown up, so all good. We go to the front. Now it's time to deliver. So request takeoff. Make sure everything is closed. Engines on. Bang, a parking job right there. So take off. Gear up. Nav mode. And here's what you're gonna do. So this is the reason why we've been loading the cargo bay as we did. As soon as we get out of Tressler, it's a straight shot down to Microtech.
Thank you, and please visit again.
It's gonna pop us over there. Just look down to the left, and there's Sakura-san, our first stop. Oh, come on. There we go. And yeah, I do love this little ship. I believe it's the first in-game ship that I bought after my pledge. So I started with a Avenger Titan, worked myself up to afford the Freelancer Max back then in-game, and I believe it was much cheaper than it is now. I think right now it's about 4 million, and I think back then I paid in total 4 million for this one and the Prospector. So prices have gone up significantly, but still, it's a very good ship. I use it daily basically. Alright, so let's go. I stay in nav mode for basically the entire trip. Just make use of your boost, stay in nav mode, and you're just gonna shave off time of your delivery a little bit at a time. So once we're getting in close, you're gonna be looking out for that hail. There it is. I like to click it as soon as possible, but just because these large hangars, they take a while to open, and sometimes the server takes a while in responding. So once I'm about here, I go out of nav, waiting for the landing. Come on. Or for my hangar rather. Let's try again. There we go. Now once I'm close, press N for landing gear. It will slow you right down.
Landing gear down.
And you can carefully make your way down here. So as you know, with any hangar, there's, well, except for the small one, I guess, there's two cargo elevators. I just like to line up with the one that's most convenient for the trajectory that I've taken. And I just land real quick here.
Landing successful.
Because I like to trigger the landing successful thing so that the hangar closes on me and doesn't think. There's some weird shenanigans with the hangars lately, so I just like to make sure that the game knows I've landed. And then that's when I position my ship for offloading. And so engines off, open all doors. And now here is where the real beauty of the system comes in. I don't have to look at the list anymore, I don't have to do anything. All I have to do is take the boxes with the right color code and chuck them in there. So some of you, while you're starting out, you might find that the actual loading process is going to take longer than the entire trip. That's completely normal. Was the same for me at the beginning, but once you get a hang of it, like I said, you can shave this trip down to half an hour per run. And it's just beautiful, because I mean that's basically 220k for nothing. I have done dozens of these runs, and they were the ones that sponsored the majority of my funds for my newest addition to the hangar, which is a C2. C2 nowadays costs just shy of 19 million, so it was quite a grind. But it was not exclusively with this, but you can do that. Just that it gets old after doing dozens of these, so I have other ships to play with, so I've been doing other stuff in the meantime as well, but it is definitely a great source of income. If you're wondering why I'm not stacking them on top of each other, just how you call it, habit, I guess, because there was a time where the top layer liked to disappear, so I'm just making sure that everything is nice and on the grid. So we just go down here, click on this last time to make sure that you've done everything right. So as long as you see only green numbers here on the bottom where it says 101, 101, blah blah blah, so 2 of 2, just quickly check this, scroll down, confirm everything is green, and you're done. But not quite. What I like to do is be kind, rewind, and just send the elevator back up for the next time that you're here, so that you don't have to go through the hassle of having to call it up again. Alright, so we're done here. Go back to the pilot seat. And we're off to the next.
Engines on. Launch sequence complete. Landing gear up.
Soon as the gap is just wide enough, I like to boost out of here as quickly as I can. I do like these structures. They've done some amazing infrastructure in this game. Anyway, off to the next destination. Now obviously it's marked and you could go through the trouble of marking it in your mobile glass. Oh, I've been a little bit too eager here. Didn't check my altitude, don't mind me. Obviously you need around 11k off the ground to exit atmosphere. So I just look back down to the planet, and this one should be Sakura. I mean Grey Cat, my bad. So there we go. Land over the Grey Cat, quantum jump, and off to the next. So we just rinse and repeat here, stay in nav mode, get as fast as quickly as possible, use our boost, maximize our speed limiter, and just keep an eye out for this communications MFD here for when the hail pops up. And there it is, quest landing.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
It registered right away, perfect. So it's gonna be the front hangar, boost right up to it, and SCM mode, adjust, come on, and landing gear out. Oof, I think my PC does not like, sorry for the frame drops guys, I don't think my PC likes the recording or the OBS together with Star Citizen, it's been a challenge. So we just land, landing complete,
Pleasant stay.
and now we just line up with the elevator. And there we go. If you hit the ledge, just push forward a little bit and you're golden. Open doors, engines off, exit seat. Run. Grab all the dark boxes or backside, however you want to call it. It's up to you. And it really makes this whole thing easier. I mean, just, you know, takes your mind off of things. All you have to do is focus at the beginning a little bit, make sure you're all loading correctly, and then just offload at your heart's content as fast as you can, or as chill as you can. In any case, you don't have to waste any of your precious brain power. And just keep dropping it. Now I apologize if it upsets you that I haven't cut all this tediousness out of it, but I did want to show roughly how quickly this run can be, just thanks to the systems that we've been implementing here. And obviously also to give you a realistic expectation of, sorry, a realistic example of what to expect once you do this run. Come on, there we go. Another tip I have here, some of you might be wondering why I'm not using the max lift tractor beam, so the big one. First of all, it's not needed for these small boxes, and second of all, you can actually traverse and drop these boxes and everything much faster than the max lift. It's something that I've noticed early on that was just a nuisance for me. So anyway, we check green, everything's green, perfect. Send it down. Wait for the elevator. We call it back up again for future proofing, and we just go back to our last stop. Oh, always funny when it does that. So the first thing I like to do is call for takeoff, engines on, close everything, launch, pull up the landing gear, go into nav mode, make sure I don't hit the roof, and once the slit is big enough, squeeze through it. There we go, and boost. Eow. gorgeous.
Please visit again.
That too. Right. So, for those of you wondering at the beginning why we were choosing the drop-off spots as we did, so we started with Sakura, then we went to Grey Cat, and last but not least, we're gonna go bring the cargo to New Babbage. And you might be thinking, but New Babbage is much closer to Tressler. I was like, yes, I know. And that's why we're leaving it last, because now, once we exited Grey Cat, and we aim for New Babbage, or New Babouche, you're gonna have a pleasant surprise. So, let's go. My god, these frames. I am so sorry. Come on. Alright. And to the sun. We're gonna be arriving at New Babouche. And because we chose Grey Cat as the last of the destinations, or the middle one, last. So the middle one, we now arrive right on top of the New Babbage spaceport. Ta-da! Because usually if you come in from different directions, like it will send you all the way out here, and it's just it takes so long to get here. So right now we're right above the spaceport. Just request landing.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
And we go in for the hangar. Coming in a little hot, no problem. Just swap to SEM as fast as possible and drop your landing gear. It will slow your ride down. And then nice and steady. And boop. Nope. Boop. There we go. Landing complete. Line up with the elevator. Like so. If you're wondering what I'm looking at, I'm looking at where the legs are of the ship compared to the lines. That's a rough indication of where you should be landing. So, let's go. I forgot to open the doors, I think. Nope, I did not. Alright. Maybe I forgot to close them? Anyway, doesn't matter, nothing falls out. So we just load up the elevator. Come on. I don't know why it does it sometimes. There's nothing on its side, so it's a bit odd. We just grab the other one. Doesn't matter. Yep, that works. And that's about it, guys. Like, as soon as we send this cargo elevator down, that's another 223,500 SEU Alpha AUEC in the bank. Would be nuts if it was a CU. So yeah, Alpha AUEC. I do hope CIG does not nerf this kind of run, because it's the only one I've found so far that is actually time efficient and has a good payout. As I've mentioned earlier, or at the beginning of the video, I have done so many of these that I've grinded all the way up to senior, and I did some of the senior ones, but oh my god, like the design of those missions is so bad. I might get into it in a future video, so if you're interested in that, it's really a pain to do, but if you're interested in it, like, just let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll show you the pain that it is of doing senior cargo missions, even with if it's a C2. But yeah, might be a different story with the whole C, but I cannot confirm nor deny that yet. Last couple of boxes. like so. And just send it down. Oh, one last thing. We're gonna check over here. So we have about 650k. Gonna check the rep. Colex. So yeah, as you see, I'm actually even almost done with senior. So it's just about, just under the width of this mouse cursor, right? So let's see if that will change, even though we're doing member missions at senior level. Green, 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 green. Send it down. Send it back up. There you have it, contract complete. And yep, 220k in the plus, and our rep. Has it increased? Yes. Yes, it has. Alright, that will do it, guys. That's the run. I mean, from here on out, you could, if you have a bigger ship, you could take some of the new Babbage to Port Tressler cargo missions, but if it's just the Freelancer Max or the ZEUS CL that you have, I would not recommend it, because at this point you would have to leave either one box here or pick it up the next time around. It's a hassle. It takes a long time for the 14k that it gives. I don't like it, so I'm not recommending it. Any case, from here on, just go back into your ship, fly up to Tressler, and rinse and repeat. It's super easy. Like I said, I love this run. It's a nice change of pace from other things that you might be doing, and the payout is really good. So, alright. Let me know if you want to see something else, maybe cargo related, or maybe some other industry related Star Citizen content, and I'll see what I can do for you guys. In any case, thank you so much for watching. If you feel like it, like, comment, ask me anything, and yeah, I would appreciate if you subscribed so that I know whether to continue doing these. Alright, have fun, and bye bye.